Hello. The abundance of fake profiles causing mischief on Facebook has become a systemic issue. In my most popular video so far, I showed a number of ways to identify fake profiles if they approach you on Facebook. In this video, I'm going to lobby for a more long-term solution to the problem. When I was taking a class in cyber warfare at the American Military University, all the way back in 2010, they taught us that visualizing different sections of the internet as basically sovereign nations was the best way to visualize cyber terrain from a military perspective. And they even listed Facebook as one of those countries. Facebook has 2.89 billion users. That's more than twice the population of China. Facebook brought in $86 billion last year. If it were a country, its GDP would rank 68th in the world. 7.79% of all the world's internet traffic relates to Facebook. That's a pretty big chunk. Russia is the largest country in the world, and it amounts for about 8.6% of the world's landmass. Facebook definitely has some things that you would associate with an entire country. But if it were a country, what kind of country would it be? Well, right now it's a country where you can get a fake ID in less than a minute for free with no contacts. And it's a country where citizens can basically morph to look like anything they want. Every country that has ever existed has at some point found it necessary to verify the identity of people who are wandering around trying to do things. Really thought of two simple solutions to fix this. In my video, Facebook Dating Scams, I showed people how to use Google image searches to see if the person who sent them a friend's request is actually using a picture of a model or something. And it really wouldn't be difficult at all for Facebook to just set it up so that every time a person uploads a photo, it automatically runs through one of those scans to see if like 50 results pop up. Right now, all you really need to verify your account on Facebook is some sort of email address, some working phone number, and some kind of visa. And those aren't hard to get. There are actually a number of companies that can run scans on that type of data in less than a minute. And it would be easy for Facebook to make a partnership with one such company. Every time someone tries to start an account, they can run a scan. And if the scan finds that this email address comes from a person who has 30 different email addresses, 25 different visas, and about 12 phone numbers, then that could pop up with a flag that says that person has to go through additional screening before they're allowed to actually use Facebook. And they could also easily scan to find out if all this other information that came up with it was used to create multiple Facebook accounts in the past. I really think it would function better if people were only allowed to have one Facebook account for the exact same reason that citizens are only allowed to have one driver's license. These changes wouldn't stop every fake account, but they would definitely make a huge dent in the population. Now, the users would still have the freedom and privacy they've come to expect for how much information they give out to the rest of the world about themselves and their profiles. But the changes would stop a person from grabbing a picture of a model and setting up a brand new account in less than 5 minutes. Many criticisms have already been made of Facebook's creator for not doing this already. But what you gotta understand is anonymity has been a big part of Facebook from the very beginning. And we're talking about a person who set out with the life goal of proving that he was the most genius HTML coder. He's just not really wired to think of himself from the perspective of a leader. We don't know his exact thoughts, and I've come to speculate that part of his reluctance to heighten security might just be pride in the notion that nearly half the planet uses his platform. And if he cracked down on all the fake profiles, the number might crunch out that actually only a quarter of the world population really uses Facebook. However, I think those people would be a lot happier to not constantly get bombarded by crap from fake users. And that could bring in a lot of new users. It could also bring in a lot of people who have already deleted their accounts for a number of grievances. Within a few years, he could be back to saying that he's got half the world on his platform, and they would be actual valid users this time. Facebook is used for a lot of business, and an increase in integrity could actually draw in even more business, rising the revenues of Facebook to greater heights than it's ever seen before. Heightening security would require the hiring of many more employees to accomplish all the work. He can definitely afford that, and generating more jobs would probably increase his public image. Whatever Mark Zuckerberg chooses to do, he's basically guaranteed to be rich enough to buy anything he wants for the rest of his life. So the risk factors inherent to stepping up and actually becoming a leader of the crazy-ass country he built are fairly low. Thank you for watching another episode of SS Street Fighter. Leave a like, leave a comment, and click subscribe to join the Street Fighter army. I'd also like to send a thank you to my Patreon supporter, Charles.